Hello and welcome to the Stronghold Digital Mining Daily Update. Today's Tuesday, May 9th, 2023. We're only a couple of days away from our investor presentation, which will take place this Thursday, May 11th, 2023. There have been some questions about the computation of BTCMW. Yes, the dashboard is likely underreporting the amount of revenue we're generating. I tend to prefer to stay on the more conservative side of the computations rather than to be speculating way out in front of where we might actually be. So there will be some adjustments roughly as of the end of this week, basically, to take into consideration the additional hash rate, which Stronghold Digital Mining has already announced will be getting installed at the various data centers. So look for that number as well as for just our overall hash rate to be adjusted as a result of the additional hash power, which is coming into the data centers. If it seems like I'm a bit preoccupied, it's because I'm thinking about the stock price. As I've said before, I have sort of taken my eyes off of operations the past month or so, not entirely, but I've really started to focus almost obsessively really on the stock price because needless to say, right, we are bumping up really close to that deadline at this point that the SEC has for our stock price to be at least have a minimum bid price of $1 per share. We're not anywhere close to being at $1 a share at the moment. I think we closed at 90 cents a share on volume of about 400,000 or so shares. So very light volume. It would not surprise me, just looking at the calendar and assuming that, okay, we're not going to be given any extensions and there's not going to be any sort of reprieve here. And let's just assume that by May 29th, which happens to be a Monday, so we have to rewind that back to that Friday, which I believe would be the 26th, if my math is correct as I create this video, Friday the 26th, I believe. That would really be the final trading day for us to have had 10 consecutive business days, right, or trading days of the stock being at $1 a share or higher. So for those 10 days to occur, starting basically this coming Monday. So our investor presentation is on Thursday, May 11th. So the following Monday, we will have had to achieve, sorry about that. We will have to have achieved a minimum bid price of at least $1 a share beginning on that Monday and continue to achieve that for 10 days. Weekends don't count. So it would be essentially all of next week and then all of the following week to essentially come back into compliance with Nasdaq listing requirements. So we have the option of performing a reverse stock split. Everything's in place for us to do that. The board of directors will have to decide, as to what type of, basically what will the reverse stock split look like. The range that has been approved by shareholders, and we already did this, is on, 1 to 2 on the one end and 1 to 10 on the other end, okay, of the spectrum. So if we close today at 90 cents a share, let's, just for the sake of simplicity, let's just say we do a 1 for 10 reverse stock split. That means we're reducing the number of common shares outstanding by a factor of 10, right? So if it's, say, roughly 130 million shares, just to keep the math easy, divide that by 10, that should be about 13 million shares outstanding. It also means that the stock price would be multiplied by 10, essentially, right? So from 90 cents, you go to $9 a share. So the big question is, okay, within that spectrum, so that's sort of the most arguably extreme end of the range. And actually, I think there may be an argument to be made that perhaps that's ultimately the type of reverse stock split that we undertake. I don't know that it really does us much good to kind of go from like 90 cents to just a little bit over $1. Again, there are a lot of, investment rules that certain institutions have as to what types of securities they're willing to invest in. And generally speaking, this is just kind of more of a this isn't necessarily something that's codified in federal securities law or anything like that, but generally speaking, like the $5 a share threshold, anything below that is oftentimes referred to as a penny stock. Anything above $5 a share is generally not really seen as a penny stock. So there may be an argument to be made that the reverse stock split should at least get our share price up over $5 a share. There's certainly a further argument to be made that, maybe going all the way up to, the 1 for 10 might make the most sense for a variety of reasons that are probably not germane to this specific video. But I would not be surprised if this Thursday, May 11th, 2023, when we have our investor presentation, it would not surprise me if the topic of a reverse stock split doesn't come up. Because this is going to be really the time frame in which to make that decision. Absent, of course, some sort of indication from Nasdaq that, hey, we've applied for an extension and we've received that extension or something like that, absent something like that occurring, it would be my expectation that we're probably going to hear about a reverse stock split this Thursday. That does not inherently bother me. I've said this before. What would really concern me is a problem with a power plant. What would really concern me is some sort of critical infrastructure failure at a data center. That stuff would really concern me, okay? A cosmetic change of the way in which the stock is essentially presented relative to the number of common shares that would then be outstanding so as to come into compliance with a Nasdaq listing requirement. That to me is not something that is as concerning as would be, again, something that would really fundamentally alter or change or affect our ability to do business, right? To be a going concern. And from that perspective, right, from the operations side of things, my expectation is that we're doing really, really well. And everything I've observed suggests we're doing really, really well. And everything I've observed and computed suggests that Q1 2023, whose results will be released this coming Thursday, May 11th, I suspect we're going to have some really interesting news regarding that, and I'm really excited to hear about a lot of things. And I'm just bracing you for the potential, the very high potential, that we're going to have to address the stock price. And at this juncture, I am assuming, absent any sort of indication to the contrary, my assumption is going to be, and I'm going to invite you to assume this as well, is that we will be engaging in a reverse stock split. And my personal sense is that to the extent we do a reverse stock split, it will probably take us up above $5 a share. That's a guess, pure speculation on my part. I have absolute confidence and I place absolute trust in the judgment of our board of directors to figure out what would make the most sense insofar as that reverse stock split ratio, okay, that's going to be selected if in fact we pursue that path. So until our Thursday investor presentation, at this point, we're just kind of on cruise control. Let's stay positive, let's be great, and we'll see each other again tomorrow.